my God, look where somebody's left their baguette. So welcome to Lot 76 Cars at the 2024 10th Anniversary Festival of the Unexceptional. If you want a unicorn convention, you've come to the right place. There's some absolutely brilliant cars arriving here. My own car's in the Concourse ring, so we'll take a look around there later. But for now, here's a bit of a taster behind me. So let's start off with a real unicorn. We've got Johnny Smith's Eagle Quest Statesman, based on a Senator. He bought this one from eBay. His podcast listeners on Smith & Sniff were bullying him to buy it. And what a lovely place to be, isn't it? I guess the place is in the back behind the petition. There's plenty of room, isn't there? Put your kids right at the back and you won't even be able to hear them. Brilliant. So we've got an extremely rare Nissan Laurel from 1986. Johnny Smith just told me he had one of these as well. Let's have a quick look inside. You'll seldom see one of these inside. Then we'll take a quick look round the back. Look at that. Oh, that's when velour was in fashion. Great days, my friend, great days. 2.4, absolutely hen's teeth to see one of those these days. That's an absolute beauty, isn't it? So this was Vauxhall's executive take. It was the Vauxhall Royale, probably better known later on as the Opel Senator. Oh, look at those seats. Can you just get a shot of those seats? That crushed velour. It's an automatic, as many were. It's got the aerial mounted on the front wing. It's got a factory sunroof as well. I bet it hasn't got air conditioning. I bet anything you like it hasn't got air conditioning. But doesn't it look a treat? What, 1980? Wow. Now these were an incredibly versatile MPV. It's a Nissan Prairie. And its party trick is the sliding door. I think one of the sliding doors is open, so we'll try and show you that. These rotted away even years ago, so the fact that this one's actually survived is just incredible, really. From what, 86? And that's the party piece. It's got the sliding door, complete access. I think it's a sliding door on both sides, in fact. So if you're tight on space, that's just the job for you, isn't it? What a treat that one is. Incredible. An AutoZam AZ1. I think that was sold as a Mazda or Mazda sub-brand. A little K car. Looks a little treat. Where the Petrol Blog Safran may have failed its MOT, but brought into play is Petrol Blog's trusty Camry. Well, it's made it here. That's quite a trek from down in the southwest. Oh, it's got a factory sunroof as well. You know what, it doesn't look so bad, and being a Toyota, it'll go on forever. So check out the Petrol Blog channel, got some great content there. If you love French cars as well as this, then that's the place to be. Booted version of the Delta is the Lancia Prisma. This is a symbol. I'm not sure what grade trim symbol brought, but I'll bow to the comments. If you know, there's not many Deltas about. The Integrales survive, but the basic ones don't, and certainly these Saloon Prismas. Lancia Prisma is a brand that's just coming back, Lancia, so we may see them back in the UK at some stage. Oh, it's great to see that here. Hasn't it survived? So this is a unicorn. There is one only surviving Yugo Sana GL, and this is it. It's got those echoes of Bertone style and a bit of BX in there, hasn't it? What do you think about the back? To me, it's got a bit of BX in this, in the design. I would say so, definitely. We're going to just have a quick look inside. What does a Sana look like? Well, it's got some interesting switchgear, almost Fiat-like switchgear, hasn't it, there? With those toggle switches at the side. Quite a lot of grey in there. Keep fit windows, and no worse for it, less to go wrong. That's lovely. Formerly of the up and down channel is VEP or VEP. It is a very early 1983 Citroen BX 16 TRS, well before the facelift. One of Bertone's most successful designs. Wasn't this a design that was rejected for a Volvo or something like that, and it was offered to Citroen? I can't remember, but honestly, they are. I'm just tripping over unicorns today, and that's another one. Certainly a pre-facelift car is a rare one, and doesn't it look a treat now? So the Alfetta platform went on to underpin quite a few cars in the Alfa Romeo range for years. I think they reused that platform. But this is the car that started it all, used extensively by the police, the Carabinieri in Italy. I think they even had their own versions of this. They had versions of the Alfa Saloons right the way up, I think probably to the Alfa 90. That is a treat. It's a right-hand drive car. Could it be a South African car? I'm not quite sure, but if it's a UK car, it's survived a lot of tough winters, so well done for that. So we've got a Caribbean red Honda City, but the important action's taking place round the back. Well, it's important enough there, it's a rare car, but round the back it's got the matching Honda Moto Compo Mini motorcycle. Isn't that a treat? Well, you've got the full set there. You get to the city in that last few meters, you could hop on the bike. Brilliant. Now this one is a recent purchase, and I think it was rescued from some old guy, but what's important is the colour combination. When I saw this, I was absolutely amazed when I saw it on Facebook. So it's sort of like an old English white. Apologies for getting the Rover name wrong, but look at the interior. Now this is where all the action is, this sort of oxblue. It's not called oxblue, it's called something different I believe, but doesn't that look an absolute treat in there? I tell you one thing that Rover did, they didn't half do a good job on the interiors of their cars back in the day. This one is in outstanding order. The code name HHR, designed by Richard Woolley and based on a Honda, and that's what you got. And in later life rebadged as a 45, I think originally 400. Lovely. So replacing the 2002, the BMW 3 Series, I think the first generation E21. This one's got the original purchase invoice, which shows it's got a factory sunroof, a tachometer, and a 5-speed gearbox. Oh, absolute luxury, and even a stereo. Not quite enough money in the kitty for metallic paint, so we had to settle for a non-metallic shade, but that makes it a very rare beast. Beautiful. So this one deserves a mention. This Nissan Cherry Trend 1.3 Trends come all the way from the Netherlands. So well done, folks, for coming to the show, making that trek over. It's in great condition as well. You know what? They've left the window open. Do you want to look inside it as well? Yeah, I do. Look at the trim. Well, it's certainly you probably need sunglasses in there with that blue, but doesn't it look a treat? It's a bit different anyway, isn't it? Wow. Well, thanks for bringing that, guys. A rare treat. So we've got a Citroen Visa in L designation. Really roomy cars, quite a lot of space. I think they did share something with the Peugeot 205. The owners let me have a look inside, because I tell you what, you've got to like blue. Look at the instrument binnacle on it. Some of the controls there. What's that for? The heater control? Is it the fan? You've got that rolling cylinder there for some of the controls. Everything about it is just totally unique, isn't it? Maybe got a bit of a look of some of the Fiats of the period as well. What a lovely car. You rarely see Citroen Visas here, and that one, it's immaculate. It is immaculate. Shout out to the owner on that one. Citroen GSA. Wow. Not the old hubnut one, because that was black. So in the Concourse section, we've got a 1986 Toyota Carina. Absolutely stunning. It's a 10,000 mile example, and doesn't it look an absolute treat? It's a Yorkshire car. Man after my own heart there. Absolutely beautiful, that one. Let's just close that very carefully. It's a sea of brown plastic in there. Back in the day, total reliability, and what a survivor. We've got a 1993 Fiat Panda. Let's have a poke inside that one through the window. Owner's left it helpfully open. Oh, it looks lovely and standard. I love how the fabric continues on the dash, and you've got that, I think that's the ashtray that you can move across from one side to the other, depending who's smoking the most, the driver or the passenger. That's a beauty, isn't it? Lovely. So later in life, Rover reinvented the Metro and called it the 100, and this is the limited edition Rover 100 Kensington from 1995. Unfortunately, this got taken off sale because there was a very disruptive crash test, and then it disappeared off sale. But what a shame, because by this stage they'd really refined Metro to be an absolutely lovely small car, although it was aging, to be fair. A Subaru Justy from 1998. So it's got all-wheel drive. You can see there. Wasn't this based on a Suzuki? I'm sure it was based on a Suzuki Swift. Look at that interior. Wow. You couldn't even buy an interior like that if you wanted to these days. Well, that's a stunning colour, isn't it? All-wheel drive Justy. Ticks a lot of boxes for people, that one. What a treat. So Top Gear famously tried to kill one and failed, but it wasn't this one. This is a 1982 Toyota Hilux. Is mint, and I mean mint, and it's so mint. It's even got mirrors underneath, so you can see how mint it is. So just take a look down there. It really is that good. Honestly, that is probably one of the best prepared cars here. It's putting mine to shame. Lovely. So Fiat had the Bravo and the Brava. The Brava was the 5-door version. Now this one was originally owned by Fiat themselves. It was a press car. It's actually been on the Furious Driving channel as well, so you may remember it. These are rare beasts these days. I love the rear light treatment on these. You see the rear light treatment from this angle, obviously better from the back, clearly, and very distinctive, isn't it? So Mark IV Cortinas rarely survive. Something to do with the rust protection. They say that Mark V's had better rust protection than 4s. I don't know, but you certainly don't see many Mark IVs. This is a GL version. Let's just try and take a look inside if this gentleman will allow me. Look at that trim. There's no head restraints there. What an absolute treat. Lovely, isn't it? A 1996 Lada Riva. These were budget purchases in the UK back in the day. Lada had a big old dealer network, but in actual fact, I think in the 90s or the early 2000s, a lot of these cars found their way exported back to Russia for parts. And we don't have so many left, and this is one of them that survived. Lovely to see that in that hearing aid beige. What a cracker. So, big change from the 2002 or the 1602 is the BMW E30. This is a 316. So it'll still be a carburetor car. Didn't even get to the I. You had to pay extra for a radio. You had to pay extra for alloy wheels. So not so many boxes were ticked on that one, but it is immaculate, isn't it? So we've got an R8 generation Rover, but this is a facelift car. But it's also the GSD. It's a diesel. How often did the diesels actually survive? So the diesels, I guess, are probably a typical rep car of the day. Beautiful colour, this one. Stick it in the comments if you know what the colour is, but that looks lovely, doesn't it? So never originally planned to be a Peugeot. It was going to be a Talbot Arizona, but thankfully it went on to become a Peugeot 309. The 5-door version uses the doors from the 205. They're interchangeable, believe it or not. Let's have a look inside. The owner's very kindly left it open. Oh, and it looks like bog standard in there. It's even got a tape player. Isn't that absolutely immense? Love that car. Glorious. A lovely 106. 106 came after 205. I think shared platform with the Citroen Saxo. Beautiful inside. Well, the line does go from strength to strength, doesn't it? And he's on the dashboard there. Some great press photos in the back of that car. The owner's put a real effort into presenting the car nicely, and doesn't that look lovely? Built at a brand new factory in Sunderland was the Bluebird. This is a UK built Bluebird in a factory opened by Maggie, bless her soul. Back in the day, went on to build Primeras after that one. I think there's one of those hiding around here. In fact, yes, there is. Next door, we've got a Nissan Primera, so also built in Sunderland. This one looks like it's come from Germany on the plates. It's a 91. It's a P10 Primera. Next to that, we've got a Renault Twingo. Not sold in the UK officially, all left-hand drive. Beautiful cars. Patrick Lequemont design, I think. What a really characterful little car. Now you've got to love a Corsa B, haven't you? And especially one that looks lovely in this turquoise colour. You just wouldn't get that option these days. Let's have a look at that fabric trim. It's a Merit 1.28 valve. It's only got 4 speeds. Who cares when it looks as nice as that? It's even got a matching phone on the dashboard. That's incredible. This little Ford car was a game changer compared to the cars that came after it. It was the new edge Ford design applied to a small car. I think the small 1.3 Enduro engine or something like this. Quite an old engine. Lovely inside. I think the first cars were on P-plated. This one, it says apparently it's called Clog because of the registration number. It makes it quite an early example. And it's in mint condition. A lot of these do tend to rot, but this one thankfully has survived very, very well, hasn't it? So this Fiesta Bonus is a one family owner from New Car, passed to the current owner by his uncle, who sadly passed away. Brings it to shows in his memory. We'll try and get a shot inside the car because you need to have a look at that fabric trim. I think this was an era when Ford had moulded these where the cover was actually already moulded or attached to the foam cushion. I remember those dashboards anyway. You know, quite a step up in quality from the previous car. What an absolute treat that looks, doesn't it? Great to see one of those, especially in that blue. Is it maritime blue, or did I make that up? Stick it in the comments if you know the truth of that one. So this, I think, was the Mark IV Escort. By this generation, it picked up a very basic ABS, I think, operating on the front wheels, an option by Girling. This one looks to me like a GL from the pinstripe and also the trim. It's got the proper factory Ford roof, no pop-up roofs there, proper factory one. Beautiful inside. That is immaculate. It's almost showroom fresh, that car. That's absolutely incredible. I'm trying to walk backwards here and not trip up. That would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? Isn't that lovely? So under the leadership of Michael Edwards, the first cooperation was the Triumph Acclaim. In fact, the last car to bear the Triumph badge. It's even got the little Corgi model there as well on the dashboard. I think I had one of those as well, and my son's got it now. Absolutely brilliant. Solid blue colour. It's even got the original invoice at the back, which shows the customer paid, what, I think just under £5,000 for it. Well, you've got a bargain. It's here, it's survived. That's quite some investment, isn't it? Now there's a brand you don't see anymore, Zastava, a Yugo Zastava. Didn't I remember, wasn't there a story where if you pushed hard enough on the bulkhead because of the way that the brakes were routed, you could interfere with the brakes? I don't know, maybe I made that one up, but quite honestly, who cares? I'm glad that somebody's preserved the Yugo 45A, and it's here for us today to have a look at, celebrating the ordinary, thankfully. So this is Datsun's flagship before the days of calling themselves Nissan under the Octave Botner days. It's a 1980 260C estate. Now I must show you around the back of this one because all the action is taking place around here. Now this is a proper hobnut moment because look, it's got twin rear wipers on. Oh, isn't that great? So Citroen Visas are rare, we know that these days. This is an 83 on an A plater, but this is a champagne special edition, which I think got a well, it's certainly got champagne name on the side. It got a special interior trim by the look of it. Well, it looks lovely, doesn't it? Of course, it's got the champagne badge there. That's what you're paying the money for. There you go. That is a true survivor. I want to say, when have you seen another? I think I've seen two already today. Another Fiesta survivor. This is a Freestyle special edition. You've got to have a look at inside of this one. Helpfully the windows open. What a sea of blue. If you like blue interiors, you've absolutely come to the right place because this is a little cracker, isn't it? Very useful 5-door version, and got the original dealer stickers in the back. Hybrid Ford, I think, on the bottom as well, on the plates. Beautiful. So the Triumph Toledo, I think, marked the switch back to rear-wheel drive. Triumph experimented with front-wheel drive. I don't think it went very well. And then bizarrely, they switched back to rear-wheel drive, I think, with this platform. What a strange way of doing things. The Dolomite's probably better known, but the Toledo, right towards the bottom end of the range, just looks very similar. I'm not sure how many panels they share. Thankfully, this one's, we can have a look. This well appointed inside. I mean, even if it is towards the bottom of the range, I love the BL, British Leyland Passport there that used to come with the service book, the wood trim. What a beauty. And it's topped, says it's from 75, 0 to 60 in 17 seconds. And there's about 400 left. Well, I'm surprised there's even that many left, to tell you the truth. Well, this time under the Nissan badge, we've got a Nissan Laurel. And as Johnny Smith was telling me, he'd owned a Nissan Laurel. That's quite some boast, isn't it? We can have a quick sneak through the window. We can sort of get close to it and have a look and see what it's like. Japanese abandoned this segment long time ago, but fortunately we've got this as a true survivor. A 2.4 SGX Nissan Laurel. Lovely. So the Daihatsu brand disappeared from the UK. They had an ill-fated entry back in the 60s with a car called the Compagno, and I made a video about that. But by this stage, by 1987, with the Daihatsu Shirad, they really made their mark with this little hatchback. This one is a CX automatic, just 51 horsepower from a 993cc engine. but again, it weighs less than 800 kilos, so that's going to be reasonably nippy, I suppose, isn't it? Cars have gained so much weight since those days. I suspect I've seen this car because I recognise the fact it's got those pressed aluminium number plates, you see, with the pressed digits on there, and it's worth looking again, even if I have seen it. Look at the interior, just luxuriating that rusty coloured cloth check trim. That takes you back, doesn't it? Those bubble arches. You can see why Novas were so highly prized by young drivers. They just look the business, even in basic spec. So it's not unusual to see a Fiat Punter. There are a few here, but this one's a selector edition, so it's got the automatic transmission. I'm not sure whether that was CVT or a normal transmission. We'll have a look inside it anyway, just because we can, and admire the seats. That by then Fiat dashes had sort of slush mould in plastics, a bit more durable, but again, not so many Puntos about, and this one's a true survivor. It looks like an early car, 196 maybe. So the owner's mum and dad had owned a similar car to this one. It's a 145 estate, so the 145 estate got a facelift. It picked up those indicators on the lights on the side of, indicators on the side of the car, wrap round indicators, different lamp treatment as well, and then eventually evolved with those big impact bumpers into the 245. But this one is immense condition. How many family holidays were had in Volvos, and you can see why, because you just got to look in the back of them to see how much damn room there is in those cars. Exterior dimensions are small, or we're all set up for a picnic. We've got a flask, we've got our sharp radio cassette. We're laughing. Well, that's quite some way to travel for the family, isn't it? Now, we've seen a Nova, and you remember those well, but the Nova Saloon? Yeah, you remember when cars in this segment, a B segment hatchback, had saloon versions? I mean, quite honestly, these are rare beasts. You don't have the practicality of a hatchback, but you do have room of a flipping big secure boot on the back of the car. So we'll try and get a shot of that. It's got the Vauxhall, environmentally friendly, it's tuned for unleaded fuel. That's handy, isn't it, really? But it's certainly in cracking looking nick, isn't it? So somebody shout for Nicole or Papa. Not many of you may pick up on that reference, but anyway, I'm going to use it. It's a 1996 Cleo Oasis Special Edition. God, I wish my engine bay was as clean as that one underneath. It's in great nick, isn't it, really? Looks like it's got a factory sunroof in that one. These are pretty looking cars, these early Cleos, aren't they? It's a survivor. Can't see a speck of rust on that one either. So the Lancia Z was a platform sharing venture. I think Peugeot had got this. Was it with the 806? Had Fiat got the Ulysses? They may have made other versions as well. But this is the Lancia version. The driver, or the entrant here, has bought this 1998 Lancia Zeta over from the Netherlands, and we're glad he has. What a very usable vehicle. It's got the extra row of seats at the back. You rarely see these with any badge on, and of course in the UK they were never actually officially sold as Lancias. Lancia had long since gone then. Massive amount of room inside it. Let's just take a look. Sliding door, which is quite handy, and let's just take a look in the centre. Lovely sort of Alcantara dash. Oh, captain's seats as well that turn around.
And it's got curves.
What a lovely practical family classic.
Yeah.
Fabulous. So this is a 1997 Daewoo Lanos. So do you remember the advertising campaigns? That'll be the Daewoo. I did make a video about these. They were well ahead of the time, this brand. And what they were doing is they were selling cars with a full service maintenance package. All you had to do was basically add fuel to them. And they sold quite a lot of cars and gained quite a lot of customers during that period. But unfortunately, the collapse of the parent company meant they folded into GM and then eventually disappeared into obscurity. But the Lanos is one of the cars they produced, and a rare survivor. Well, I'm going to say this phrase, you rarely see these. I've probably said that many times today, but you really don't. In the Concourse ring is a 1994 Alfa Romeo 1.6 Boxer. We'll get that one out. Let's have a look inside, shall we? Now I can speak again. Look at that wrap round dashboard. The plastics have survived really well, haven't they? Those seats look pretty comfortable. I like that material, that sort of like denimish finish there as well. Got that typical bread van look. Interesting rear arrangement where the side windows pop out. but not right to the back. Yeah, it's beautiful in that green, isn't it? Well, if you like green, you're in for a treat. So this Austin Metro, it's badged as Mini Metro before they dropped the Mini name. It doesn't have a rear wash wipe. It's baser than base. It's in a beautiful colour. I think it's called Applejack. Let's see if we can see. Well, it's light inside. We'll have a look. Well, first of all, on the way, we'll see there's no passenger door mirror. We don't want fripperies like that. We've got a vinyl trim inside. We've got a 4-speed gearbox. Oh, we have got an AM radio by the look of it as well, but it's in beautiful condition. The tax disc, it's dated 1981, and doesn't it look a treat? Well, I do like that one. I think one of my teachers at school had one in that colour as well, come to think of it. It's got the non-halogen lights. You see they're recessed in the front there. The other ones were flat, but yep, beautiful. A very worthy entrant to the Concourse this year. So yes, making a slightly different appearance this time is my car. Yes, I looked into the Concourse this year, not quite sure how that happened, but the old 1990 Merc is having its moment of fame, waiting for the judges to come round. I'm going to make a separate video on the preparations for this car because there's been quite a lot. Somehow I'm in here feeling a bit nervous to see what the judges think about the car, but it's a bit too late now. We'll just have to wait, won't we? So talking of seldom seen, here's a Mazda 626. I think at this time Mazda was a privately owned importer in the UK, not owned by the factory. Some of these had four-wheel steer. This one doesn't appear to be one of those, but that fastback styling, it was a bit of a left field choice compared to what I guess Sierras, Cavaliers, top end of those. Quite a good looking car, I think you probably agree. This is executive, so absolute top spec. Not sure whether it had aircon or not, but oh, what a survivor, 1990 as well, I think. Well, where would we be without a Daihatsu Applause? One of these actually, I think, won the competition last year. Now this is, although it looks like a saloon, I'm pretty sure it's a hatchback. God, it's a rare one. It's got an Isle of Mull sticker. Do you think it's come all the way from the Isle of Mull? If it has, put it in the comments. Fair play. It definitely deserves a round of applause. So, the legendary Octave Botner, once one of the richest men in Britain, set up Datsun UK. Now this was still within the period when I think he was running the business. I think Nissan themselves took over in the early 90s, and they produced or sold this lovely Datsun Sunny gel. God, you don't see these. They were super well equipped. It's got a pop-up sunroof. Remember when you could get those done in the supermarket car park? Somebody would take a pair of cutters to your roof. Horrific when you think about it now, but that's beautiful in that sort of silvery green colour, isn't it? Got the original dealer plates on. That looks lovely. So this was the 2010 winner, and it's a Nissan Cherry Europe, although it does say Datsun on the side, but it's definitely Nissan Cherry Europe. So Alfa Romeo and Nissan came up with a partnership that combined a Nissan body and also combined this with an Alfa Romeo engine, and they came up with an operation called Alfa Romeo Nissan Europe. So one version of the car, Alfa Romeo's version, was called the Arna, and Nissan had the Nissan Cherry Europe. I think I've seen this car before. Well, it's worth seeing again with an interior colour trim like that, isn't it? What can you say about that? Well, a worthy past winner and a particularly rare car. That's lovely, isn't it? So the 2021 winner was John Coupland with this one-of-one dealer special edition or Proton special edition Black Knight. There's only one left, and this is it. You're looking at it. So savour that. Proton, one of the fastest growing brands in the UK at the time, in the mid to I think late 80s. This one's a true survivor. I know John absolutely dotes on this car. You've seen it on his channel, but looks lovely, doesn't it? And the 2022 winner, a Vauxhall Aston Merit. Now Merit was leading spec below the L. I'm not sure what you lost or what you didn't gain. Has it got windy windows? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's got windy windows, but it does have a radio cassette. It's got the factory aerial, manual aerial at the back. Just savour that. Think's the last time when you saw one of those, especially in that condition. So I think I've actually stumbled into a unicorn convention. I found a Hyundai Stellar. Now, I believe Hyundai were actually involved in assembling Cortinas from Mark IIs right to Mark Vs. I suspect there might be some components on this that are shared with contemporary Cortinas. It's certainly got a bit of a look of Cortina about it. These are super rare. From the early days, what, 86 of Hyundai in the UK. Wow, I'll linger on that one because you are unlikely to see many more of those, I think. So what we've got here, another unicorn, an FSO. Is it Polonaise? This is actually badged Caro. I'm not quite sure. Put it in the comments. It is badged FSO Polonaise. 1.5 GLE. I'm not sure what GLE got you. It's got some pretty racing looking seats in this one, I can tell you that. But this looks like it might be a Jersey registered car from the plate. It's a Mitushi Saporo. Good Lord, when's the last time you saw one of those? I think we got grandstand seats at this unicorn convention today. I'm not sure what year it is. I'm not sure much about it, but it's certainly an unusual and rare car, isn't it? So channel viewers may remember, I think we've seen this one before, it's a Renault 14. Remember these? It got a bit of a nickname as the pair because they've been rotten as a pair because they did suffer with terrible corrosion. But I think the one unusual fact is the wheelbase is different on each side of the car. Something to do with, I think, the torsion beam rear suspension layout, but the wheelbase is slightly different. Anyway, that's a lesser known bit of trivia. Is this the only Lancia Gamma Berliner in the UK? It might be. I might have to look that one up, but quite honestly, these are super rare cars. They suffered with a lot of engine difficulties back in the day. The coupes do seem to have a better survival rate than the Berliner's. Got the unusual style, and it's got the split tailgate at the back. God, that's a rare car. Is that one of one? I think it might just be one of one. I think we might have seen the only one. So the Fiat Strada, also known in some markets as the Ritmo, built by robots, and I think the Not the 9 O'Clock News advertisement said driven by Italians, which is probably a bit unfair. They're pretty rare cars as right-hand drive UK cars, I suspect. And there you have it. So savour that one. You're probably not going to see too many more of those this year. So these were designed with quite a bit of help from, I think it was a rejected Mark II Golf design from Giugiaro. I'm not quite sure, might be wrong on that one. System Porsche engines on some of them. These are super rare. Well, I've said that a few times today, and I'm constantly astounded how many really rare cars are out here today. I think there's quite a few more to come, so stick with us with that. So this held the title as the cheapest car on sale in the UK back at the time. This is a 2000. It's a Perodua Nipper, so it's Perodua was Malaysia's second car company after Proton, and they launched this car based on the Daihatsu Karori or Mira, depending which market you came from. And I think I'm going to be driving one of these at some stage in the future. Fascinating little cars, and this one is it's in incredibly good order. What great condition. Renault 25. It's a facelift car, but I'll take it. I keep looking for the non-facelift cars. What a lovely old barge this is. It's a TXI. Doesn't that look a lovely place to be? Automatic. You see the dash in there, that binnacle on the dash. It's leather seats. I bet all the electrics work. Of course they work. Don't doubt it for a minute. It's a Renault. Look at that. Oh, dear me. Should I buy it? I'll get in a lot of trouble if I do. Volvo 760. That is the 6-cylinder car. Wiper on the light moment there for us. I think the windows might be open. Might get a chance to have a look inside this one. Do you want me to do that? Yes, I hear you cry. Well, it's green. Count me in. Those lovely comfortable velour Volvo seats. It is in lovely condition. GLE was pretty much top of the range. I think these had the 6-cylinder engine in. Wow, got that styling to appeal to the American market. It's a, why would that make it what, 82? I'm not sure about that one, but anyway, put it in the comments please. Fiat Temper. I think a Fiat Temper, I think this was based on, was it on the Tipo? The Temper was the booted version. Unusual to have a wiper on the back of a Saloon, wasn't it really? Oh, that's a seldom seen one as well. So initially the Volvo 340 series originally conceived to be a DAF, and then Volvo bought DAF out, and they started off with the 3-door version. It was only later on, from I think the early 80s, they actually developed the 5-door version. Quite a popular hatchback, popular with drifters because they're rear wheel drive. I think there might even be a transaxle layout with the gearbox over the rear axle. Not sure about that, I'll have to check my facts, but nevertheless, good to see one. So some of you may have heard that Honda are resurrecting the Prelude, who knows, but they're resurrecting the name of their coupe. But this was the first one, I believe, pretty much derived, it looks like it's derived from the Civic of the period. Got those lovely cloth seats with the tartan. It's an automatic, got a very nice sort of period radio. It's also got handily a wiper on the back. I love the fact it's gold as well. What a treat that one is, isn't it? So this is a rare one. I'm assured it's a UK car. It's a Datsun, yes, a Datsun, although it's got Nissan Cherry badge in 120A, a Cherry F11 it helpfully says. Interesting coupe styling. Shall we have a look inside? Look how the back windows drop down here, and then inside, oh, we've got pure 70s Japanese. We've got a bit of wood going on there as well. Let's try and have a look from the front. Look at that air cleaner, or the air filter housing I should say. Wow, that's a rare treat, isn't it? Simply lovely. Vauxhall's first real shot at the fleet market was the Mark 1 Cavalier. Quite based on the Ascona with a revised front end. This is unusual because this is a 2-door car. You do see the 4-door cars about from time to time, but you seldom see the 2 doors. Remember when cars in this class also had 2 doors available? Sierra's had 2 doors as well, but it's certainly is not something that happened these days. That's lovely, isn't it? So this is a Daewoo Leganza. Yes, a Daewoo Leganza, I hear you cry. You've not found as a Leganza, Simon? Yes, I have. This was a rejected Ital design for Jaguar, who'd just been taken over by Ford. The design was rejected, but then it was resized and changed a little bit, and then Daewoo took it on with the Leganza. Now I reckon this is probably one of the best looking Daewoo's ever made. Now the owner's given me permission to have a look inside, so let's have a look what buyers were given by Daewoo. This is the SX model. I'm probably told this is the only one. It's for sale. The owner, I don't even think he wants £1,000 for that. Can somebody buy this? Or I might have to buy it myself, and I'll have to explain that when I get home. I do think that's a fabulous car. So it's an automatic as well. What more could you want? It's probably got air conditioning. I will linger on. You can feel free to freeze the telephone number at this point if you're interested. What a fabulous car. I'm really pleased to have seen that. Now other people may think the channel has gone downhill at this point, but you know what, that's made my day. Massively over engineered and still running on steel wheels with hubcaps by the look of this. It's the W140 series S-Class. It's a later car because it doesn't have the parking poles that came before park sensors, or certainly maybe weren't specified on this car. A lot of these went for export. What an immense car, an immensely well built car they are as well. So believe it or not, the Chrysler Horizon and later Talbot Horizon was actually a car of the year, I think in something like 78. This brown one by, I think, Adam Scarborough. I think he's got his own YouTube channel, which slips from my mind at the moment, but let's have a look. He's left the window open. Let's have a look at that velour interior. I know you want to have a look at it. Don't be shy. Absolutely immense, that, isn't it? That's a rare car, isn't it? Again, in either Chrysler or Talbot format, you rarely see these. There can't be too many of those left on the road, surely. I think sold as a Dodge in the US as well. Peugeot 305, apparently there's a couple here, not just this one. This is the estate version. I do remember these back in the day, predecessor, I think, to the 405, probably a little bit smaller. Wow, well, it's made it here, and we are so thankful for that. Thank you. So we've got a 1981 Audi Avant 100L, and it says it's very rare, and I don't doubt it for a minute. It's awaiting restoration apparently, so the owner's going to put a fair bit of time into it, but I certainly don't remember these early 100 Avants. I don't ever remember seeing one. Looks like a UK car. Great to see that one. So thanks again for joining me at Festival of the Unexceptional 2024 10th anniversary. We've seen some absolutely brilliant cars here today. Hope you've enjoyed the videos. Please like, share, subscribe, click on notifications to be informed of my next video, and once again, as always, thanks for watching.